Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jeff Jones, and we're here with a Steel Target Paint podcast. I'm here with Steve. Steve, you there? Steve, are
Oh,
you
hey,
there? Oh, good.
hey, what's going on, Jeff?
What's going on, dude?
Man,
We're going to do a podcast.
ever since Baker put my dirty shop and tools all over the place in my shop, I'm taking this opportunity on Father's Day to clean up the shop a little bit. So I'm over here sweeping like a madman.
Okay, well, that explains it. Well, yes, that's a good point. It is about 11:45 Eastern Standard Time on Father's Day. So for all those fathers that are going to listen to this, happy Father's Day. It'll be belated probably by the time you listen to it. We might get it up. It depends on how randy I feel once the recording gets mastered. But so Steve, you're cleaning your shop. You got anything else planned for the day?
Man, I've got a lot of stuff going on. We got a bunch of projects here. I'm doing some customized grips and magwells and shipping a bunch of compensators and yeah, no, it's then we're gonna head over to have an early dinner with my mom and dad. So that's great. How
Fantastic.
about you?
Yeah.
What are you planning today?
Well, I got a call from my daughter wishing me a happy Father's Day. She is up in Illinois. So
Mm.
she gave me a call. So that was really nice. And a lot of people have met her. She actually was with me. Or no, not my granddaughter was with me at the Area 5. So, but my granddaughter's in town. So she's going over to see her great grandmother. So we're got to take her over there. And other than that, I am just chilling. We had our local match yesterday, which I had a blast shooting optical sight revolver.
Oh,
Uh, I it was a match of I'm just going to have fun shooting a gun. No pressure, we just had World Speed, which we're going to recap, and then I went on to Area 5, which we're going to recap, and you went on to Metal Madness, which we're going to recap. So yeah, it's been busy. So it was fun going back and just shooting a different gun that still had a dot on it, but it was more about just being out there and putting the match on for the people who shot it.
yeah, I'm telling you what, and we'll talk more about Metal Madness and it's a great family event, but you and I've talked about it 1,000 times, but I've got a 617 engraved revolver with hoe grips and a vortex razor, and man, they have a category to shoot um, a 22 revolver, both iron sight and open, and man, I feel like a little kid shooting that gun. But we'll talk more about Metal Madness here in a little bit.
Sounds good. Well, let's get into it. World Speed 2024 at the CMP from May 29th to June 3rd. Uh, I don't know, seventh year at the CMP. Attendance was slightly down. Everybody can come up with their own reasons behind it. There were some notables from the past that were there but not shooting as many guns that they shot. There were notables from the past that weren't there who shoot a lot of guns. And they did move it. And, my theory, and it's just a theory, is that, being later in the year, it might have kind of bumped heads with some high school and college graduations.
Yep, agreed.
And it was hotter.
Dude, it was well on Friday it wasn't bad. Was it Saturday? Saturday was pretty warm.
Yeah. I know for myself, uh, I was trying to drink half a bottle of water every stage.
Yeah.
And yeah, Thursday was hot. Thursday was hot. But again, a great match. Phenomenal staff.
As always.
Yeah. The cream of the crowd comes out to work that match. Everything from a shooter's perspective went real smooth, which is a testament to the staff, including Stats and John Serafin on Mr. Fix-It. It's another one of those things where you walk up and if you're looking at outer limits from the side of the bay, you're like, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Hey Jeff,
And you get
Jeff, how many people ended up shooting the match?
We
Or
had
how many? Well,
637 guns. Okay.
I'll take that.
And if you want to know the number of
Because last year was like 670 or something, wasn't it? Somewhere in there.
yeah, we were up there last year. In fact, what I can do here for you is we'll go year. I happen to have my little database of the matches year and that, and we'll do that, and we'll do count. Okay, so yeah, we were 637 this year, 673 the prior year,
Okay.
2023. 2022 was the biggest ever at 712.
Mm.
But then you go back and you look at, you go back prior to that in 2021, it was 637. In 2020, it was 630. 2019, 635. 2018, 638. So if you take 2022 and 2023 as curve breakers, it was right in line with four other world speed shoots.
Hey,
So,
do you happen to have 2017, 2016 available or not?
yep. So 2016 was 252. 2017 was 319.
Yeah, those were both out in California.
Yep. They're out in California. It was also the early inception of the divisions, some of the new divisions. In fact, if I do,
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day. I think 2016 PCC was provisional. And the other thing, which I think is probably the most important that we talked about before on the podcast, was the classification system. In July of 2017, that's when our classification system, as we know it today, went active, and I think that was a huge piece of it. Then, of course, don't get me wrong, I think there's a lot of people shoot steel challenge on the West Coast, but the Southeast probably has more per capita shooters that shoot steel than probably anywhere in the country. There's some hotbeds here and there, but
yeah. Well, to your point, 2016, 9 PCCOs.
yeah.
2017, 22 PCCOs.
Was I one of those? I think.
Probably, I believe you did go out to Worlds that year, but in
Yeah.
2018, 114.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay. And same thing, rimfire pistol optic was always and also ran for Steelmaster. So you look here in 2016, there were 48, 2017, there were 53, and in 2018 it went to 102. And it's fluctuated, high of 130 in 2022, but it's been right around that 100 number. And then the same thing with rimfire rifle. That was
yeah.
actually provisional in 2014, where there was 23, next year 17, next year 28, next year 50, and then in 2018 it jumped to 121.
Yeah, exploded.
And you're absolutely right. I think a combination of people finding out about it, the classification where I'm just not shooting for the match. I'm actually shooting against
Yeah,
people in my same classification. Um, is huge. Is huge. It really has
for
made a
sure.
difference. And not to discount uh the centerfire divisions, and there are some that are close, the ISRs, the single stacks, the productions. Uh, they've been waning in years. Although this year we did award a world champion in each of those divisions. Um, but you look at carry optics, in that that was instituted back in 2015. There were two people shooting it, and then 4 and 16, 14 and 17. Then it jumped to 24, and since then we've been in that 40 to 50 range for carry
Yeah,
optics. Open has been running right in that 50 gun range. It's holding its own. Um, and those are the key, really the two key
Centerfire.
centerfire divisions. Yeah. And, I've said this all along too, with regards to the rimfire and the low ready. RFRI, PCCI, RFPI. There's a lot of people. I think a lot of people would rather shoot optics. There was only 26 PCCI iron sights at Worlds.
That's actually higher than what I thought it was going to be honest with you.
Yeah. And RFPI was 27 this year. And that's been around for a while.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because it was always part of the rimfire, pistol, iron, and optic. You could choose one of them to shoot for Steelmaster.
Steelmaster.
Going back to the original.
Yep.
So again, it's the nice thing is you got all these divisions, and hopefully there's a gun you can shoot, and
or try to anyway.
Yeah. Now, speaking of divisions, did you happen to see the survey that was at the World Speed?
Yes.
And that survey was a simple one question survey. Would you shoot limited optics if it was a division?
Yep.
And while the numbers were close, very close, there were enough answers to now create an official survey that Zach is working on and will present to the board with questions that will then help us identify whether or where we go from here. So we are listening to some of the members that have talked about wanting limited optics as a separate division. And, the game is not defined by the vocal minority. So we're doing what is appropriate and asking the shooters, what do you think? And then we'll go from there.
Yep.
So anyways, back to World Speed. I wrote an article. It's going to be coming out hopefully in the next front site, but we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that happened there. And the first thing I think that is very noteworthy is the fact that Jesse Misko won 5 division titles.
Is that all it was?
He did shoot rimfire, pistol, iron, and I saw him, and he was like, "Yeah, that's just a warm up." But
That's
yes,
too funny.
He other than rimfire, pistol, iron, he won all the other rifle and low ready divisions. So congratulations to him. And in doing so, also set 3 new world records.
Like division world records, right?
Division world records, yes.
Yep.
In rimfire rifle, optic, PCC optic, and PCC irons.
Man, that what was his PCCO time? Like a 52 something?
52:11.
Yeah, that's smoking.
Yes.
Not that the other times aren't fast, but that's smoking. Smoking.
If you go back to, I shot the inaugural year PCCI was brought into Steel Challenge. You shot it that year, I believe, too. And that year it was run by an OG shooter, Ron Oliver. And I believe he shot somewhere around an 80.
Yep.
You want to just take a gander at what Jesse won it this year?
57.
53.49.
Woo.
With an iron sight PCC.
Hey, I'm looking at a trophy right now where I shot the fastest time at the U.S. Steel Shooter, U.S. Steel Nationals with PCCI, and I think that was like an 80.
Mm-hmm.
And back in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yep.
It's amazing where the game has gone to.
You know, we talked about it off audio, but it is amazing what. Now I call them kids, but then again, I'm 60, so you're a kid to me because you're younger.
Ah, yep,
Um, I believe Jesse is 26.
yep.
And so, I mean, he's younger, but he's not a kid. He's not 15. It is amazing what I'm just going to say the shooting community and the shooters that are in it, how they've taken these guns to all new levels,
Oh yeah, I agree.
you know? Um, so, but anyways, back to some of the other things there. There was also, in years past, there's been some with these new guns, new divisions, and people starting to shoot them and really understand how to shoot them fast. There's been a lot of world records. I think one year, I don't know for sure, but I think there were close to 47 new world records set. But just for fun, how many world records, stage world records?
Oh, stage.
Stage. This is stage world records. How many
Oh,
stage world records do you think were set this year?
man. So you got
8
eight
stages,
times
13 divisions.
13. I'm
Can't
gonna
be more
go.
than 104.
I'm gonna say 50. I know that's pretty bold.
It's a very bold move. It was 22.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have a little fun with this, and I'm gonna tell you this. I'm looking through the list that Michael Pogge set one in OSR on speed option. Tanner Gibson set one NRFRO on speed option.
That dude blazed that thing to the ground, son.
Yep. Nate Gibson set one.
He came out of retirement. Good to
Yep.
see you, Nate.
Rimfire pistol optic. Roundabout 549. It's crazy. Now, that was 4.
I've got one. I've got one. I've
Go.
got one.
Go.
Randall Miller, the shooting GG shot for ladies, PCCO. She shot a 575 on roundabout. That's a world record, isn't it?
It's not. So give me a second here. Let me sort this by division. And PCCO for roundabout. It might be a ladies record.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is a ladies
because
record.
the record was set by Jesse overall, and I'm not looking at
categories or
the division,
whatever.
the category world records.
Yep.
But here's the crazy thing. So I mentioned Michael, I mentioned Nate, and I mentioned Tanner.
Yep.
Okay. Every other world record was either set by Lance Bratcher Jr. or Jesse Misko.
Blazing. All right. So let's talk about that for a minute, because I had the opportunity. Must be they couldn't find anybody else. So I shot on the Rimfire Pistol Open Super Squad. Holy cow. So you had Jesse Misko, Adam Rano, Lance Bratcher Jr. shooting Rimfire Pistol. There's some other great shooters there, but those three, man, when we got up there and we started on 5 to go, right? So we kind of work left to right.
Yep.
We started on 5 to go. Misko shooting Rimfire Pistol Open on 5 to go. That was a clinic, sir. I mean, the guy was just, and I'm doing this off of memory, I think he got up there and shot like a 182, and it was probably the smoothest, whether it was 182 or 282 on 5 to go I've ever seen shot with a pistol. And yeah, he's like, let me dial it up a little bit. Shot a 178, 181, 179, and I can't even remember what the fifth one was. I thought he was going to go like wide open on it, but he didn't. But I was like, dude, I'm like, is this what we're in store for today? Because I decided to go back to the truck and get out my notebook, start taking notes, man. It was crazy. And then Adam Reno, he was up there shooting. He shot exceptionally well. I mean, he was just, I think they were off by what, 2 seconds? I think I'm doing this again by memory. Misko shot like a 59 something with Rimfire Pistol Open. I think Junior shot like a 61 and some change, and then Adam shot a 61 and some change,
Yeah,
maybe
I've
somewhere in
got the
there.
division records here. RFPO. Yeah. Yep. Jesse shot a 59.20. Junior shot a 61.33. Adam was a 61.71.
But
Um,
to unless if you were like really keen on, stage times and all that kind of stuff, you would have swore that all three were shooting pretty much the same capacity or capability. The one thing that I will say though that and Jesse was lights out and Adam was lights out. There's not really that big of a difference between the three of them per se. Just with the makeups and whatnot, were really the big delineation between all three. But what I will say though is that I've had the opportunity to shoot with some exceptional shooters in my day, but Lance Bratcher Jr., his ability to transition the gun and pull the trigger and be able to process that information, I think is probably the greatest out on that range. So we were talking a little bit. He was shooting a Ruger Mark IV in stock
yeah, that's
lower with Seymour
I
upper.
think they
Yeah, the
call it
Green Machine.
the green machine. Yeah, exactly.
So we were talking a little bit, and I won't go into too much detail. And he made a couple of enhancements. I will share this part with you, but he's got a set of my grips and magwell on there. He's like, man, these are a little bit heavier. I said, but dude, the weight's right where you need it at. And because with that light of a gun, everybody, oh, light's better, light's better. No, it's really not.
No, I'm with you.
Especially depending on what level you shoot at, right? If you're an 18-year-old or an 8-year-old kid and you need to get a gun in somebody's hands, you need something really light, then absolutely that's what you need to do. But
Agreed.
when we were talking during the match and after the match, I'm like, dude, that dot's got to be bouncing all around. He's like, oh, I really never noticed that before. And I said, well, and so he shot with the grips and magwell, and he shot, I don't know, a practice session or two. And he's like, dude, these things are awesome. And I said, well, there's a reason why they were developed, sir. And then this past weekend, where did you shoot? The Missouri State, you were saying?
Ah, yes, Missouri State.
And what did he do? He shot the
Uh,
fastest rimfire pistol open time that and there may be a faster time out there. I doubt it, but
well,
I think he
that was
shot.
my point. Our good friend Doug Kemmerer, had to, you would ask the simple question on Facebook, you know, Jeff, what do you know? Because I
Yep,
tend to be the data guy.
that's exactly right.
And I believe if I go here and find the post, our friend Mr. Kemmerer had to remind me that you have a home. Okay.
That came
So
up again.
I think the here's the actual post from you. Man, that RFRO time, that RFPO time, that is the fastest I've seen. We might need Jeff Jones to investigate. And then we get from Doug, Jeff who? Does this Jeff have a home range? But again, I did kind of thing that I've really only got data on worlds
Yep.
in my database. I don't pull in. I do pull in area matches to help Zach and I to calculate the slot winners.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't tend to pull that in. Now, the only reason I remember seeing what Jesse had done at the CMP match was I happen to remember it from Facebook.
Yep.
So, but again, to your point, I don't think RFPO has ever been shot faster.
Yeah, he shot a 55.29. And talking with Jesse Misko, because I'm not sitting here saying there's nobody else out there that can shoot that fast. But I think Misko was saying that he shot a 56, which again, that's lights out.
Uh-huh.
But he shot a 55.29, which is just, and I think, go ahead and write this down, Jeff. I think with a couple of changes that he's going to make, I think he can shoot 2 seconds quicker. He'll be in the 53 here by the end of the year. And the rimfire pistol iron time, he shot 63.22. I I've never seen anybody shoot close to that. What was the who won
That
it
one I
this
didn't
year?
look up, so I don't know. I could
Yeah,
tell you.
67?
Yeah,
Like
this
maybe
year,
a 65,
yeah,
but
this year,
67 won it.
yeah, RFPI.
Bratcher Jr. won it, right?
Yeah, yep. Lance won it with a 67.03. If we go here to world records, Emperor Resource World Records, and of course the website's going to go slow for me. Long story short, it's freaking fast,
Oh
But to
yeah.
your point, on the RFPO, I mean, if we just do a quick look here at what Lance did, 686 on 5 to go, 564 on Showdown,
Whew.
538 Smoke and Hope,
Whew.
985 Outer Limits,
With a
680
pistol, with a
with a
pistol,
pistol.
son.
Yes, yeah, yep. 680 on Accelerator, 696 on Pendulum, 764 on Speed Option,
Wow.
roundabout 616. Now,
Uh,
I I hope you're right. And he can find 2 seconds. I don't know where he's going to find it. I mean, come on. Come on.
no, no,
Those are some
there's a
sick
yeah,
times.
yeah. There's a couple changes, and I've had this conversation. I won't reveal all the secrets, but there's a couple of other, let's just say, world champion rimfire pistol shooters that we've had the same conversation with. Is that lighter is not always better.
Right.
Um, in a current or former world champion and I had a conversation 2 3 years ago, maybe it was 2 years ago, about what upper to shoot, and yeah, let's just say we didn't go with the lightest, and I explained again. Look, I'm not shooting in the 50s with a rimfire pistol open, but you and I are both students of the game, and so I understand, hey, if I practice more, yeah, could I be better? But I understand what equipment and training does do for you. And when I want to shoot better and this and that, this is what I'm doing to shoot better. Um, yeah. So we made a couple changes. He's like, no, no, no. And then sure enough, we made a couple of changes, and later on they were top three in the world shooting it. So it's
Well,
lighter
you
is
said it.
definitely
You said
not
it
always
earlier.
better at all.
You said it earlier. If you've got a young competitor, 10 years old, okay, the the heaviest gun, a heavier gun is not going to work for them. Not going to make it through the match. They're going to get
Yep.
tired. Then they're going
Yep.
to get frustrated because their form falls apart.
Yep.
Lighter is better for them. But as they get older, I'm with you. I agree with this in brimfire rifle. I agree with it. I agree with it in all the divisions. Okay. I shoot heavy guns. I shoot a 929 in OSR. That is a big, fat, heavy gun.
That is a heavy gun, sir. I had mine lightened because it was just a little bit too heavy, but yeah.
But I mean, if you
Uh,
look at the stages and not counting speed option and actually not counting smoke and hope, you're not really twisting that much. You're not moving the gun that far.
yeah.
Okay. So, and 5 to go, you could sit there and go, oh, well, you're moving it far, but you're moving it for 98% of the people that shoot it 1 to 4 and then stop. You're moving it in a very small increment.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. I've been working on with a lot of students, and I've developed what I call my 3 C's,
Hmm.
which is clutch, core, and confidence.
Hmm.
And your grip is going to help bring your sight picture back into acceptable for the next shot. And that's going to manage the vertical side of it. Your core is going to manage the horizontal
Yeah.
side of it. And heavy doesn't really matter much on the left to right transitions because you should not be transitioning with your shoulders.
Right.
Be transitioning with your hips.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter how big an item. I mean, you're not going to hold a 20-pound log out there, but granted, he's a world champion. He's a past world champion. He's a multiple world champion. But Colby Pavlik came out with an 8-pound RFRI a couple of years ago and won the division.
Oh yeah.
And again, I think you could put a stock pistol into guys like Casey Eusebio and BJ Norris. They're anomalies in their skill sets. So to say, well, that gun's good enough because so and so can do it, it's not a fair assessment. So my assessment of look at what Colby did. Well, look at who Colby is.
Mm-hmm.
He's not shooting now. I'm not taking anything away from the man. I love him to death. The point is that he proved for himself he didn't need a light gun.
But I would also argue outside the light piece of it, but he was still shooting a full quartz, and you know how many malfunctions he had during that match? None. You know what I mean? So it's so that's where you get into the balance of, is it light versus heavy, and then does it run versus not? And it's back to BJ for a moment, because he is, if not the best iron sight pistol shooter to ever shoot Steel Challenge with a handgun, when you centerfire specifically. Maybe some other people will get as good as what he is, but his gun setup, could he go out there and probably beat most people with a stock Glock? Probably. But he wouldn't be able to shoot the times that he's shooting because he's got a custom gun and so on and so forth. And that's what we're talking about from an equipment side, is all those small, because I just released the Falcon 2 compensator, and I had I've had a lot of people, that aren't in our game go, oh, what does the comp matter? And I shared this, I think, during the last podcast. Well, if you want to go out there and kill some squirrels, compensator is probably not going to be, a big deal for you. But if you want to shoot better, you need a compensator, especially as your skill level increase, because the bullet rotates clockwise as you're looking out the gun, And if you take like a stock 2245 light and you pull the trigger on a gun and watch the front sight, it's going to go up in the right every single time. And can you manhandle it and grip it and maybe get arthritis in your wrist at some point? Probably to mitigate that, I mean, but
well, you can go back. We've probably said this and agreed on this multiple times in the previous 100 podcasts. By the way, this is podcast 101 for those keeping track. And thank you to everybody who participated and listened on podcast 100. That was a lot of fun. In fact, Brian is going to start doing those kinds of podcast records for himself. And I'm going to talk to Brian about our ability to use that setup from now on when he's there at Worlds. It was phenomenal to have people pop in and just shoot the breeze. So thanks to, I mean, I had to put up with Mike Baker, but it's part of life. But to your point, we have said this on this podcast, you cannot buy your game, but you can buy quality.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what in my estimation, your grips specifically, I'm going to toot my own horn a little. I had my second best match ever in RFPO at Worlds, and we're going to talk about A5 in a minute here, and I went and shot a 70.01 at Worlds. Did I put the work in? Absolutely. Was I shooting a quality gun that didn't have any malfunctions for 16 stages? Absolutely. I shoot a Volquartsen Scorpion. Are your grips on that gun? Absolutely. And I don't know if you keep track, but I know I've pushed at least 6 or 8 people your way to get those grips. Because as soon as they hold my gun, my gun, they're like, where do I get these?
Yeah, I've got and I gotta stop doing this because it's a pain in the backside. But I've got a magwell right here that I just took off the mill that I'm putting on a frame to make sure that it
Oh,
fits.
I
It,
was
it
just
it's
talking about people who come and bought them. I'm
oh
sorry if you're having to make changes
oh Jesus
for the
Pete.
Scorpions.
Yeah, I've done more than a couple of those, and I do appreciate it. But man, is it a pain in the backside? So I actually talked to my engineer, and we're probably going to. I'm not committing to it yet, but probably going to create a set of grips and magwell for the Scorpion.
I
Um,
just picked up
whew,
my fourth one, and I need a set, so I will be your guinea pig.
whew,
I'll even be the
man.
first person to buy them, so I don't have to go through the grinding. So,
Oh,
uh,
the grinding's real. It's
well,
real.
anyways, that was again, congratulations to everybody who participated and was able to win at Worlds. It was a great thing. I did go to the member meeting. There is no signed contract yet, but there is a contract being reviewed for um, next year's match for the WSSC. Um, Yeeman told us at the members meeting exactly that, and they couldn't tell us with who because they've got past experience of saying where it's going to be before there was a signed contract, and then things happen. So um, keep a listen to this. Keep a listen. Look on Rimfire Race Guns on the downrange emails. As soon as it can be posted, we'll get that information out for everybody so you can start. And I hope everybody comes back next year. And I hope people who've never come to Worlds come to Worlds. It's a lot of fun. It's the same 8 stage as you shoot at your local match. You know, it's the cool thing about it. If you shoot Smoke and Hope at your local match, it's the same setup.
Well, the world speed shoot may be a little bit straighter.
And you're not in a cave. So
You're not in the cave. That
all
is
right, well
true.
that was great. Well, let's go on to Area 5. I went to that match again. Three of the top guys at that match from Worlds are at Area 5. Jesse, Adam, and Lance, along with a lot of people I saw at Worlds as well. Dave Wilde, of course, the whole Area 5 crew that is part of the RO staff. And I'm talking, Richard Stokes, Doug Kemmerer, Kathy Heron, Robert Van Sickle, Steve Wright. If you're at Worlds and you rode in the cart, Janice Wright's running the cart. If there are other A5 people I missed, Greg Carey, he was at both Worlds and work stages at A5. I had a blast. I was very fortunate to have my granddaughter with me, and I will say this. Um, I will not call any names, but for those that shot with me on the first squad I was on Saturday morning, my granddaughter put you to shame because she painted more than you did.
I
And
like
sh
it. I
and she
like it.
wasn't even shooting. Uh, she was a trooper. The rest of the match, she painted when she felt like it. She didn't not like it was needed. And Saturday when I shot or Sunday when I shot carry optics, um, she loaded every one of my mags for me. Didn't even ask her to do it. She just grabbed my bags and she's like, "Show me what I need to do," and she crushed it. So that was a lot of fun. But again, A5 big match, 405 guns in that
Oh,
match.
congratulations to those
Yep,
guys. That's
that is
fantastic.
a new record for them, and it was again on time. Things moved. Weather was. I mean, we were very fortunate with the weather. You've shot at Riley, haven't you, Steve?
Yeah, I shot that match once. Oh, love those guys. The year that I shot it, I don't know if
Don't
it was
say it.
early.
Come on, we're staying positive.
Okay. Great match, staff. Had a great time.
Well, it's so funny because at that range, if you think looking at outer limits from not in the box looks weird at Worlds, the roundabout setup,
Yeah, yeah,
it I walked up and I went, okay, I know better. I'm not going to say anything, but right now this looks like it was put together by a homeless person having the shakes.
yeah.
There was not, from what I could tell, one stick that was the same height. And I'm not talking
Yeah.
about an inch or two off.
No,
Okay.
no, I got you. I got you.
And you get in the box and you get set up and you're like, oh yeah, it's right. And that's all that matters. If
Yep.
it's right from the box.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it was a lot of fun. And thank you to Chet Whistle. I think what I heard was he provided the free ice cream at the match.
Sweet.
And they do a couple different things there. Sunday is a shoot and scoot. They actually afterwards they put in their order for the awards, and they're all personalized.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Now it's only been a week, so I'm not expecting anything for a little bit, but I will definitely be posting any awards that I might have received. I actually personally shot a very good match. That's where I shot my 70.01 in RFPO.
Dude, 69's coming. I can feel it.
I want
I
it.
can feel it.
I
I can
want
feel
it.
it.
And then I'll be honest with you, I shot a 102 in carry optics, and I think I can break 100 in carry optics.
Dude, that's there's people, and I've had this conversation with multiple people. There's people that will shoot their entire shooting career in centerfire and not break 100.
I've done it once. Did it in open a couple years ago. And I
Yeah,
want
no,
it, I want it in
that's
carry
legit.
optics now. It is it's good to have goals, and I think it's a realistic goal. You know, I think I can do it. I got to put the work in.
Yeah, for sure.
And again, you're a coach, I'm a coach, we're also shooters, and you know, I don't want to say you just got to put the work in because you got to put the right work in.
Yeah, for sure.
I know when you were trying to break 60, I believe we had the discussion that said on certain stages you had to change your entire mindset on how you shoot the stage.
Oh yeah.
And you got to learn. And I learn a lot for myself from my students.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll tell them something, and I'm like, oh, I need to mark that down in my mind because I do that too. What did I just say? That was really good. I need to remember that.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but yeah, it was great. Okay, lastly, you went afterwards. You went to Metal Madness. How did that match go?
Man, the last 3 weeks, it's been a bunch of traveling and shooting, traveling and shooting. So I've shot probably more rounds in the last 3 weeks than I have in a long time. I don't even know how many rounds I've shot in the last 3 weeks, but I bet you it's quite a few. So Metal Madness, up by it's outside of Paducah. Ed's gonna throw something at me. Grand Rivers.
For not knowing the exact location.
I think it's in Kentucky, man. There's not much else in Kentucky. So Metal Madness had a homecoming match. So I think they used to have maybe one or two major matches. They do a local match every month there, as well as they've got multiple ranges across the country now. I think there's one up in Pennsylvania, and there's talk about one in South Carolina, and talk about one in, well, I'll leave the rest of that out to the world. But there's 4 different houses this year because I think I think there was just over 300 guns, 175 competitors.
Wow.
Shooting Metal Madness. Oh yeah, no, it was pretty big. So it used to be we would shoot all 4 houses. Maybe a year ago that changes to shooting 2. So you shoot 10 lanes, 5 targets in each house, which is still, it's just a lot of fun. And the targets are numbered 1 through 4, and then the stop plate's not numbered, and then of course that's number 5. The other unique thing, and I had so much stuff going on, I didn't have a chance to go around the mountain, if you will, on the backside. But they had an SASP. I don't know if it was a regional or state match going on at the same time. So that was pretty cool until it rained on Sunday, which it rained
Hmm.
most of the day on Sunday. But it was a fantastic time, man. There was a ton of people there, ton of vendors. Of course, Brian with Hunters HD Gold was there. Make Ready Shooter Tables was there. It was always good to see TJ and Becca. They're doing a lot of great things for the sport.
Yep.
You know, Tandem Cross was there. Tippmann was there. Um, of course, Ruger was there. Ruger had a booth, and Aguila was there, so you could shoot up all their ammo. I may or may not have taken them up on a little bit of that. You know, yeah, so it was there was a lot of people there, and it was a great match. Part of Ruger getting really behind Metal Madness, which is really exciting to see, you know, because USPSA's got Steel Challenge, which is a little bit different, but Ruger's made a pretty significant investment in Metal Madness, as well as other companies like Glock and Tippmann and um oh man, I'm drawing a blank. Vortex, man. Vortex stepped up big. Hunters HD Gold stepped up big.
Well,
Just a lot of
I'm on their website right now, and I'm looking at
uh
the homecoming. So, yeah, title sponsor was Ruger, platinum sponsors TK Vortex, Hunters HD Gold, Tippmann, Lancer Tactical.
Lancer
Um,
Tactical. Andy and those guys, big time. They had a
yep,
booth there. You could shoot their stuff. Yep.
your gold sponsors. I don't know that logo. I know this logo. It's like this tree with this
Yeah,
little
yeah,
path.
yeah, that's my old logo when I first rolled it
Creekside
out.
Customs,
Yeah.
Billy Stripson,
Yeah.
GSL Technology, Hogue,
Yep.
what's this? Crano Customs, Five Stone, Frontline Coffee, Wyland, Todd Sissa. I'm not sure what this one is. It's a C and an L or maybe an E. I
No,
don't know
no.
who this is. Let's click on the logo, see what it says. Oh, it's Crazy Ivan.
Yep.
Okay.
Crazy Ivan. Yeah.
Okay. So and then a host of partners. Again, I have never shot Metal Madness, and I actually got a question for you. They had four houses running. You said you only shot two houses.
Yep.
Were the 10 lanes you shot the same out of every house?
No, I believe this to be true. If it's not the exact same, it's pretty close. I think he does like a is it a 4-3-3, four difficult, three easy, or three medium, and then three easier. Which when you're up there shooting them, you can definitely tell which ones are the tough ones. Where they go out to 25 yards and they're little squares. They could be 12 by 12, maybe 10 by 10. Once they get out 25 yards, they look like they're 4 by 4. To be honest with you, but I think one and three were or one and two were similar maybe, and then three and four were similar, and I shot houses 3 and 1. So yeah, it's but you had all of Team Ruger there. Caleb Klein was just he went off, man. He shot some amazing fast times. Um
Yeah, I saw a
he shot
post where he shot a stage in, I don't know.
just just over a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's to do that, you have to have so much confidence, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's most of the stages, the faster people are shooting most of the stages like 1.75, 1.9 kind of on average. And there's some that, you can't really shoot but three because they have, two plates and they have the stop plate kind of hidden between the two. Oh no. Yeah. Because if you hit that other one, you're supposed to go back in order and reshoot them. So yeah, no, it was tough, but Caleb Kahn shot well. Jesse Grant took first place in one of his. Reagan Hearn took first place in one of hers. It's really cool. You've got I can pull it up. I think it's six different divisions. You've got essentially a rimfire rifle open, rimfire rifle iron. They call it stock. Same thing with the pistols. Same thing with the revolvers. Yeah, it's just it's a great sport. So you've got people like there's a young kid that I met there, been shooting for 2 months. I don't know how old he was, maybe 10 years old, and he's sitting there shooting next to world record holders and world champions. Man, it's so freaking cool, But
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't know that. It's just a different vibe. You know, it's
Well,
similar to
yeah,
it's similar to Steel Challenge though, for
well,
sure.
we've had that on the podcast.
Yep.
And we talked where he didn't develop it to be a competition.
Yep.
We
Yep.
turn it into a competition
Oh, of course we do.
because that's who we are. Um, but it was really put together as bringing people into shooting,
Yeah.
with a an environment that is, not, there are challenging shots. I'm sure there are even difficult shots, but there are other ones that are very straightforward and simple.
Yeah.
And, you know, uh, to answer your earlier question, when you were talking about where the ranges are, just to make sure Ed doesn't, jump down your throat, the founding range is in Grand Rivers.
Grand Rivers. Yep.
So, but yeah, so but again, if looking at some of these other ranges that are there, and they've now even got an airsoft range. That's over in Eddyville, Kentucky, but Halstead, Pennsylvania, has got a range.
Yeah,
There's
New
actually,
Milford. Yep.
yeah, Metal Madness at the Barn is an
Yep.
outdoor range in Eddyville. Um, Looks like Duncan, Oklahoma. I mean, it's going on and on and on. But you can tailor your match based on how hard or difficult you want to make the shots. Because as I remember seeing it, you've got 5 rows, right? Isn't it like 5,
Yep.
10, 15, 20, and 25?
Yep.
And then you can number the plates. So let's face it, you put everything on the left and you go out to 25 yards. That's challenging, but maybe easier. But if you suddenly got to switch back and forth between and all that, I could see how you could definitely have some more difficult. And you have to shoot them in order of the numbered plates, correct?
That's exactly correct. That's exactly
And
right.
I think if I'm not mistaken, aren't the rules like if you shoot them out of order, you have to give up your gun? Like right there, you just have to
Ah.
sign it. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Um,
They say they're 12-inch by 12-inch, man. I don't know, brother. What when they're out there a little bit, they don't look like 12 inches to me.
your 8 MOA dot is suddenly a lot bigger on the plate than it was before.
Yep, yep. So it's a 2-second penalty if you for each target missed, and I think it's 30-second penalty. Yeah, if you can't finish similar to like Steel Challenge, it's a 30-second. So they've got six divisions. So you got open rifle, open pistol, stock pistol. So that's open and iron essentially. Open revolver, stock revolver. Right now it's all rimfire, but there is talks about doing centerfire. I don't know the timing of all that. But two other quick things I will say. Well, there's somebody reached out to me over in Alabama. They had their match this past weekend for Metal Madness. We were gonna go, but I already committed to a tennis match with my wife. We did really well yesterday, so that was good. But I plan to go over there and shoot that match. But back to the prize table thing. Here's what people don't understand: is back in like 2017, I would say that was the height of prize tables. World Speed Shoot and U.S. Open or the U.S. Steel Shoot. That's
Mhm.
what's called now. It used to be Steel Nationals, and they would have some big tables. And don't get me wrong, I think the World Speed Shoot table this year was pretty good, and I think that Area 2 has an exceptional prize table. I'd say between Area 2 and then Metal Madness have the best prize tables in the country. And I think, and I'm sure Ed will correct me, if there wasn't 30 guns on that table, I'd be surprised. I mean, I think Glock stepped up. There were 6, 7 Glocks sitting on the table. There was, I don't know, 15 or so Rugers on the table. There were Tippmann guns on the table. I mean, it was, and then Vortex. I don't even know, man. They had probably 15 or 20 of the Defender ST dots out on the table. They had binoculars out on the table. I mean, it was just, you had some big boy type, and it's all random draw. So people have mixed feelings about that. I like the random draw because you could be a youngster and you didn't even shoot that well and you could win a gun. You could win a
Mhm.
gun. But anyway, so I think it's great to see people that are railing around Ed and his mission. Some celebrities there. A guy named Ton was there. He was on a like an auction picking show probably 10 years ago. He was with Firebird Target, so we hung out a good bit. 22 Plankster was there. Paul was there. Jim, and I apologize, I can't remember his last name off the top of my head. He was the founder of all the wires, like the shooting wire and stuff like that. He was there. I just shared the article that he wrote. A phenomenal guy. I think he was one of the couple of guys that started CNN, but that's another story. Yeah, so it was like star-studded, action-packed, great match. And then towards the end, and I'm sure Ed will share some more about this, but they made an announcement at the match that Ruger and Metal Madness have partnered together. They're gonna, I think they said 5 to 8 matches in 2025, but
Wow.
essentially, Metal Madness is going to be Ruger's shooting experience. So similar to what we got for Glock with GSSF and Sig with Shoot Sig and all that kind of jazz. That's what
Mhm.
Metal Madness is going to be to Ruger. So yeah, they're all in. And I think part of it though is that it is, there's a lot of sports out there that say, hey, we're an entry level shooting sport. No, this is the entry level shooting sport because you don't need to have, you just need to have one gun. You
Yep.
don't even have to have more than one magazine, Jeff, to shoot. You know what I mean? So you can shoot a pistol, you can shoot a rifle, and that's the part that I get excited about. And I'm proud and pleased to say that I'm involved with Metal Madness. We donate the awards, the dog tags, and quite a few other things. It's a great cause and a great cause to really promote the Second Amendment and people in the shooting sports. It's if you go to Metal Madness and you don't have a good time, there's something wrong with you, sir. It's just you get past the whole, well, yeah, I hit that. No, I didn't hit that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just out there having fun and spread the love of the shooting sport. So yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
it was a late night run there and a late night run back, but no, it was a good time for sure.
Fantastic. Well, Steve, we've been going at this now, looking at the time. I don't even know. I don't even care. It's been a good one. We got a good recap out there. We're going to keep doing these. People keep listening. I will actually do one last thing. I will go over to SoundCloud where we actually host the podcast. And we're going to get logged in here because I want to see. Let's do it this way. I want to thank everybody for listening, but I want to let everybody know, that came out what? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
2 weeks ago? A little over 2 weeks. And if I go to. Yep.
Hopefully it's right around 400 or 500, isn't it?
Well, it's right at 300.
Okay.
And that's good because it'll grow. Over
Yeah.
the next people will find it, and they'll get in it to. It'll usually grow to 400 or 500. So again, thank you everybody for listening. We're a small, tight community, and your support in listening, and it tells Steve and I we get to go on here for an hour and talk and have fun. And so that's all I got to say. Steve, you got anything else you got to say?
Yeah, just the thankless position of a father that dragged their kids around across the United States to shoot matches. Happy Father's Day to you.
All right, that's a good one. And you know what? You know how we end it. I can't let it go. I was gonna let it go. I was gonna try to turn a new leaf, but I can't. How do we
Can't
end
do it,
every podcast?
ST Podcast 10 for 10% off anything at wordstore.net. It's a good
All
talking with
right.
you, Jeff. Happy Father's Day, brother.
Thanks, Steve. Happy Father's Day to you. Bye-bye.
Bye.